5:30.
Yep.
Welcome to a fantastic new year. We look forward to. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
And the December 10th minute, I think everybody had a chance to read them online. Do I have a motion to accept those minutes?
Make a motion.
I'll second. Tasha second.
Yes.
And the next item is the deputy director report. And thank you so much for our wonderful packets. I think it's so organized.
We don't know how, we've never been treated like that.
We never have. This is
Look there,
fantastic.
Tammy. We somebody.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. As you read along with me, I may interject from time to time, and y'all feel free to stop me and ask questions as needed. Our office has been busy since our last meeting. On December the 13th, we mailed out 735 voter verification cards. And that was from the backlog from having to put processes on hold due to the protests. That's why that number is so large. December 20th, we mailed out 91 ID letters. We updated missing numbers on voter records where the numbers were on forms that had been scanned into the records, but they had not been put into the records, if that makes sense. We put those numbers in there, and upon entering last four of the social or the driver's license number, it comes back and lets you know whether it's validated or not. Half of those validated, which I don't know why the others didn't validate as far as the voter gave the wrong number or what occurred with that. But if it didn't validate, we had to remove it. And that's what we did.
So then what, is there another step to give them a chance to have?
Other than them getting the new ID letter, because we did that process before we printed the ID letters. So they would have been in the mailing. So once they get those ID letters, if they'll fill that information out for us and get it back to us, we can correct that in the system.
So at this point, if someone was not validated with the number they gave you, are they no longer an active voter?
They're an active voter. They just don't have any numbers. Okay.
They'll have an opportunity to fix that.
Yes, they will. Yes, absolutely. December 20th, that same day, we mailed out 212 voter verification cards, and we were caught up on mailing out cards at that point. We get to the felon information here. We have two situations that we have reports for felony completed. It's when they complete their sentence, whether it's probation or fine or whatever, and we are able to mark those individuals as felony completed in their record. These reports I'm referring to are the two reports we use to verify someone has been convicted of a felony. Okay. The first one is the Felon County report, and it had 2 active voters on it. The process for this is when we are going through and we locate a voter that's been convicted of a felony, we print a letter, a felon letter is what we call it. It's letting this voter know that they're going to be removed due to their felony conviction. Okay. I'm trying to go really slow so I don't skip any steps. So we send out the letter. The state statute says 30 days, but the state actually gives them 35 for mailing time and things like that, that they have time to appeal this letter. They get this letter. It's not them. There's something wrong. They come to the office. They let us know, and we start a process, a whole different process. If we do not hear from the individual within that 35 days, the system automatically changes their status to felony conviction. Okay, so that's that process. So with the Felon County report, the 2 active voters I just spoke about, their letters were mailed on December the 20th with the 35-day deadline that is January 23rd. Now the Felon State report had 52 felons on it that were active voters. They did not vote in this election, all of them. But we mailed those letters on December the 27th. The 35-day deadline for that was January 30th. Any questions about that?
How many of those did you say actually voted?
One. And I have the conviction report and I have the ATV form.
So these are the ones that ended up, because a few years ago, they said certain things, they changed the law and then so felons could register and blah, blah, blah. And then they went back and they changed the law again and said they couldn't. So that's how these folks kind of got into the system. Put that out there.
Okay. We're going down to the two down off. We packed and stored voted and unvoted ballots with a destroy date of November 26th. They're neatly kept in the basement in our caged area. ATV forms from the general election are continually being scanned into voter records. That will be an ongoing process for a few months. The daily report training with Donna is going great. She's actually able to take on quite a bit of the report processing each week, and I'm only doing the felons, and she took duplicates from me today. And because they're more detailed, they're more meticulous. So she's doing great with that. January 13th, yesterday, was the biennial list maintenance for the whole state. And I wanted to explain this a little bit. It's not biannual, it's biennial, and it's every 2 years. The removal process on this, the state does their part over the weekend in the systems, and they shoot that information to each county. So when we came in yesterday, we received an email that let us know it's in there, go ahead and process it, you're good to go. So we processed it, and the removals take place when a registered voter does not respond to a confirmation mailing sent by the county board and does not vote or appear to vote in an election beginning on the date of the notice and ending on the day after the date of the second general election for the United States House of Representatives that occurs after the date of the notice. That's a little bit detailed, but basically if we have not, they have not made an effort to vote in the last 2 years, they reach a removed status. They can re-register. It's not a cutoff or anything. We're taking care of our roles, our voter roles. We're taking care of the maintenance there. The second thing we were able to perform yesterday was the no contact mailings. I had no idea the no contact mailings would be as numerous as they were. But this is a confirmation card, and the mailings are sent to active voters from whom a county board has not had any contact for 2 congressional general elections. These are forwardable cards. They're pre-addressed, the postage paid, and they're sent out this month. This only happens every 2 years. And I pulled that up yesterday and did my processes to take care of that, and we mailed out 1,439 cards. So yesterday, we spent folding and tabbing cards. It took all day, and Donna went and posted those this morning and got those off in the mail. So that task has been completed. The next thing, the purchases this month, I wanted to share. We had needs for window envelopes because of us taking care of a lot of things in the office, mailing all the letters and the different things that I don't know had been done before. We were running through window envelopes like crazy, and I needed to order some more. So I did. I'm pretty proud of this. This is just something from me and Donna, but I got estimates from 3 different places. One was over 200 for 500 cards. One was like 180 for 500 cards. And I found these. This is what we were using. A regular white envelope, no security. You had to tape it or lick it. I found these, and I had our county seal put on them. They're security envelopes, and their peel and seal in a box of 500 was $79.
Good for you.
I'm just happy about that.
You should be.
Say
This should be.
Happy about that.
Give you a gold start.
We were, yeah.
Maybe you need to start helping the county order their stuff.
I was pretty tickled, especially when we figured out how to get the seal on that envelope because we love our seal. It just looks really good. Here, Drew, just pass it around.
We just get to do.
Amazon.
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 And it was delivered quite quickly.
It was.
Even with personalization, It was a day before they promised.
Yep.
I was amazed.
So it was like Christmas for me because I was just thrilled.
That was,
Also, we were able to get those, but I had to order a case of voter verification cards. I was very limited on them. And so we got that taken care of and we ordered tabs for the cards. Onto the bottom of that report, when mailing our voter cards, we're receiving the cards back and they're separated into two pieces. And both pieces had not even received the voter yet. So somewhere going through a machine at the post office, they're getting separated. So what we were doing was taking the card and putting it into an envelope and remailing it to the voter. Well, that's expensive. We
Yeah.
don't need to be doing that. So when I first came, they were using staples. So we stopped using staples and we used tape the long way down the sides. We were still getting them back. So Donna went and spoke with the postal clerk and he recommended the tabs, which used to be used in this office. I don't know why we quit using them. So I've ordered tabs and those 1,400 cards got tabs on them and we've used tabs the last couple of times and we haven't gotten as many back. So that's a positive note. Does anybody have any questions about that?
yeah.
That all?
That's it for my report.
All right. On to old business. Do we have a report on FMLA for director? We do know it ends tomorrow,
Yes, that's what we know about the FMLA.
and we did finalize the September minutes last meeting, correct? And they're all signed and are they posted yet?
We didn't have Tasha's signature, I think, because she was unable to attend the last meeting, so we held them for her signature.
Okay.
As soon as they're signed, I'll give them straight to Savannah. She gets them right on me.
And the final payroll for precinct officials has been, for the recount, has been distributed. And we are now passing around the minutes for November 14th, 15th, and 21st. And filling in the blanks for who made the motions, who seconded.
I have those. Give me, I thought I put them in here, but I think I picked up the wrong set because I slung my book out the back seat, but I get them, I'll just email them to you.
Okay.
That was missing. I usually write that down. I think I have all three of them. Yeah,
I just can't.
and I have them, I just, you see my book.
I know. I just told her I'm gonna have to get you extra table over there or something. I'm not sure what's going
I
on.
just didn't have time to put it all together.
I sit there and kept it separated back to 20.
So we can't sign this one because that one's on the same page.
All three of those are the same thing. There's missing, motions.
She gets that to her. They'll be next month.
It's from here.
Feedback.
The December 10th was the one that was approved, the minutes were approved and they're ready for signatures now.
Vanishing minutes.
This is third.
Yeah, and the September one.
They the ones put on.
Well, that one's ready to be posted.
Over here.
This one should be.
Have made Donna very happy.
Yes.
If that means.
Another thing to check off. your
Whatever it takes to
very
make
long
Donna
list.
happy.
All right, new business, we have emergency information.
I don't know how this works normally, but I have all of the things to go over each step with y'all. Is that all right?
Yes, sir.
And if y'all want anything done differently, please let me know. So we have a new director training that'll be March the 10th through the 14th. We just found out about this during a huddle last week. I notified Steve to see what his thoughts were on me attending this new training because there's only 20 seats. So I contacted the state, Jessica Bowie, and she wanted me to wait till Rhonda came back. And then I called Steve. He said, well, you tell her to go ahead and put you on it. I don't want you to miss it. And so she has. Okay, so that's,
You're on the list.
I'm on the list, yes.
Now, who will pay for We're paying the funds there if it's prior to,
I think it's the county.
It'll be there.
have been told there was
It'll be
something before.
Yeah, they figured out that.
It'll be there.
Also the, NCADE E conference, the North Carolina Association of Directors of Elections Conference is in Durham. It's Sunday, March 23rd through March the 25th. The deadline to register is March the 1st. I will be, if situations permit, I will be registering me and Donna for that Friday. And then the summer conference where we all go is July 27th through the 29th. I would also like to register that if situations permit.
Dates again, I'm sorry.
July 27th, you have a, you all have a sheet in your packet.
Oh, okay.
And where is that?
That one is in,
Where's the March 3rd?
23rd. This one's not as that.
what is it? It's Wilmington.
Wilmington?
It's Wilmington, yes.
Did you re-give the one March 3rd? What are those dates? Because it's not.
That's through March 25th. That's just for me and Donna. That's just for office staff. But yes, March 23rd through the 25th.
So the three that she's talked about is the director's training, which is just for the director to go, and that's on
I'm
March,
thinking the dates for
March the
that.
10th through the 14th, and then the association conference is March 25th through the 27th.
So for the March 23rd through 25th, with both of you gone, how do we keep the office open?
We will have to, make a decision on a backup office person to answer the phone. I think, before I'd heard Renee recommend someone for the county. I know we have an intern. So that's something I could call and ask to see if she can be here to answer the phone during that time. And if not, it would have been Brenda. Is everyone in agreement with me, going ahead and booking those things Friday?
Okay, so the budget, she didn't put any money for the summer conference.
Well, this summer conference will be in next year's budget. The budget goes into effect in July.
So we can put money in.
So this conference isn't until the last weekend of July.
Right,
So the money will be there for that.
okay.
These other two are strictly for them. We don't need, the director's constant. So what they used to do is the spring conference was a combination. The directors had a conference, then the board association had a conference, and they kind of joined them together. That way everybody was there at the same time. And as we know, the board association is not very organized, even though they try to be every time they have a conference. So, this summer conference will be new board members being appointed in June. So that's why it would be at that time.
Do you have any more questions about that? I'll give Marion Finance a call and let her know what my plans are, of course, and, get permission.
As far as the summer conference, the sooner you can book it, the better, because those rooms down there are gonna go,
Well, these are additional hotels.
yes.
The first ones they set up last year when I was working in Stanley, they already booked theirs.
Yeah.
They had already booked their stuff. Those hotels are packed.
Yeah. Especially that time of the year.
Especially that time of year, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know that it's instead of like the more helpful section of hotel.
All right. The next item is incident report summaries.
Does that need, excuse me, but does that need a motion and approval for her to go? Yeah, that's what, I just don't think.
Okay, for the incident report summaries, I went through all of the incident reports we received from Election Day and made a summary for you. This incident report was delivered by Donnie Juarez, and she wrote it. It's pretty lengthy, so I put that in separate, the whole thing. But these are summaries of all of the ones we received from Election. Chair, I don't know how you want to handle that. I know it's too much to go over now.
We detail, I think we should read them, table this, and read them, and then be ready to approve
Discuss.
next meeting. I have a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Make sure you read them until we're ready. Next item is the protest update. We're getting a lot of email on this.
Okay, this is the updates we received during the huddle. I'm just gonna read it. State Board has dismissed all protests filed by Jefferson Griffin, North Carolina Supreme Court candidate, and 3 legislative candidates. The 3 legislative candidates' certificates of election have been issued. A legislative contest in the General Assembly is still possible. The Griffin protest is being appealed in both state and federal courts. Just wanted y'all to have that.
Was there any discussion during your huddle on any?
They pretty much, it was a cut and dry type information because things are still ongoing.
That is the only,
Federal courts for the back to the state.
and that is the only contest in the last election that has not been certified.
Was moved to deny 3 voter registrations that are currently serving felon offenses.
Okay, John, have you ever participated in this process before? Okay. So this is how, I would like to do this. If you would like it done differently, let me know. I clarified everything with Steve, our SST from the state, and he agreed that this was a fine way to take care of this. What you have in your packet is a description of what happens when we get a new registration and we realize that they are a new person. They're not registered. We go onto the Department of Corrections website and search their name and their information to verify that they are not serving a felony sentence before we grant them registration on our voter rolls. Okay,
Everyone that registered can do that.
we do.
Wow.
Yes. We had 2 voted provisionally. They were not approved. They voted provisionally, and once I was processing the provisional applications to get them registered in the voter rolls, because as you know, you vote a provisional, it may not be counted, but you'll be registered for the next election. Well, in doing that process, I have 2 voters that are serving a felony sentence at this time. And what will occur is you will look over them. I have the provisional application and the felony record, and you will look and verify that that is indeed the case. And then you will move to approve denying their registration due to a felony sentence. And then we will take care of the process of sending them the letter. It'll be the 35-day guideline again as well. And that's all encompassed in these instructions. So I wanted to give you.
The difference between what she's talking about now and what she talked about earlier is those earlier were people who were actually registered to vote and have
Already.
been convicted of a felony, and we send them the letter, and then the state would automatically remove them if they don't do the appeal.
Right.
These are people who have applied
New registrants.
to register a new registration application
Before the last election,
During,
During.
during their sentence.
and they voted provisionally. So right now, they've counted.
no,
No,
They haven't.
there's a balance leak.
Okay.
We didn't count. That's what she said.
Okay.
So what, we just need to look at them, look at the provisional application, look at the record that they had. Say, this is who this is what they said, this is who they are, and motion to either remove them or to remove them and deny their registration.
If there's a question about felony conviction, we are able to reach out to probation parole for clarification with the report if wherever, because some of them list things in a certain way. You're not sure which year, is this for this conviction or that conviction? And so we were able to do that with a few and clarified what we were looking at.
So with a felony conviction, after you've completed, you served your time, did your probation, anything, and they say, okay, you're done, then you can re-register.
Re-register, that's the key thing, because they don't put it in the letter.
No, they don't put that in the
Makes
key.
I thought about
So
that.
you said there were 3 voters and 2 of them are serving. What about the 3rd voter?
The 3rd voter is actually a new registration. 2 were provisionals and 1 was a new registration from, I believe it's DMV.
So all 3
Okay.
of these are not registered to vote at this particular point.
Okay.
It's
Um,
waiting for you, but they're in my system as a felony conviction. They're ready to receive their letter, but I need you, the board, to approve, to deny their registration.
So you're not removing anybody,
Mm-mm.
you're just denying them because they're currently serving that felony sentence and not gonna get to register to vote at this time.
And then they have to go through the process of registering again.
Yes,
Once they're,
Complaining with their,
All the money paid.
yep.
I need to record this.
well,
It says felon.
Okay,
Oh,
so they're
So
still
here-
a felon.
yeah, so
If you look at the cover sheet, the very first the cover sheet of the DPS report, it shows active. And then when you look at the actual criminal history, it shows you what they were convicted of. So it shows you if they're active on probation or incarcerated, and then the report shows you what the class of the crime was,
That's kind of what I was looking for,
Yep.
but I didn't know what,
which page it was on, yeah.
and I was.
but technically, we just need to be looking for whether or not.
That they're
active.
Yeah, that they're active,
yes.
active on probation or
Okay.
post-release or prison, and then the conviction class to be a felony class.
so.
Probation is after, he's no longer, he's on probation.
Not incorporated. but- That-
Still have that.
Which he'll always carry that.
Right,
It
but
just means,
get your vote back.
yeah,
This is who it is. This is showing that he's no longer an inmate, but he is on active probation. He'll always be on probation.
Yeah.
Pretty soon.
Say, look.
It's the same thing.
yeah.
Yes.
I saw that, that's the same one you're talking about.
Inactive
The-
probation, the role is still back. Probation.
No, that's not what I'm looking at, I'm looking at those.
I get. Yeah. Once you say the thing. What is the
Ted, are we supposed to be looking to see if he active or inactive?
I know, I
That's
did.
Active or inactive?
probation is still active. He does not go.
So you first want us to rule the two provisionals.
We'll just do it at the same time, because they're all the same. It's all the same.
That the third one you have?
Yeah.
John, oh, John's got one on.
This has already made its way.
Oh,
It's coming back.
okay. Teddy doing surgery. Teddy, pass that piece of paper down, active or inactive?
Okay. Post release probation.
So do we
Honestly,
need,
I think they stayed even after we left.
so we need a
So I'll
motion.
make a motion to deny all three of these registrations due to their felony convictions and still serving their sentences.
I'll say that.
Teddy,
Thank you. Next item on the agenda, is there anything else on this balance sheet?
Teddy, I wanted to share the, voter that is an active felon that was, that voted. I
Yeah.
wanted to, I will have to send this to the state. Steve's gonna let me know the process and, well, actually he told me once y'all viewed it, there's nothing we can do about it now. But, I will send this to the state for their further investigation of the matter. But I wanted y'all to see I pulled the ATV form for that individual and then you can see their record on the back. if the process of working the felony reports is done accurately and timely,
This doesn't,
this doesn't happen.
I was just going to ask, how did the person,
But it wasn't. there.
because like I said a while ago, they started messing with the laws. And now you can, then you couldn't, then you could, then you couldn't.
religion and
Yep.
something didn't wash out in the system?
Mhm.
But it cleaned
And then
the
when
mess
you're
up.
not doing the
You have to do
checking the reports like you're supposed to, this falls through the cracks.
You should have maybe one or two every few months. I had 52. 52.
It used to come to the Spirit Court clerk, and we walked it across the hall. Elections, and then they went to doing it electronic. I knew they like that. I print it out and take it down anyway. I'm not gonna trust another state doing what they're supposed to do. We are updating it. We move on something today.
We're moving now.
It's not just he shouldn't have voted. Was he still in probation? He would. No,
Okay.
he probably didn't know any better. It's like I said, that letter.
So the next item is discussion and approval of Montgomery County Board of Elections fee schedule. The current fee schedule that's posted out front has been there for 4 years,
5 years.
5 years.
This is I redid the board out front, and I found this sheet at computer CDs. And so I wanted y'all's input on this. Do we need it other than copies? What are your suggestions? It just needs to be revamped and, y'all can write on it what you want it to say, and then I can do that. Y'all can vote for that or however you do it.
Don't need it. That's fine.
This is the people who copy system. Okay.
That's simple.
I had feeling.
We're not making CD-ROMs for people.
No.
Mm-mm.
We.
I mean,
It looks older than 4 years ago.
It really does.
it was
Think it's probably-
revamped. Somebody in 2020 went, oh, let's just change the date
Yeah.
and post it.
And when I saw that, I was like, we've got to readjust this. This looks
If you agree with that, then
I don't know what we had on charged email list, but
Oh,
emails are.
normally the emails are free.
I mean,
The
that's
copies are
one
what,
click. But if you want a copy of something,
you want a hard copy, Nick.
yes,
did y'all change the price of the copies?
yes,
10 cents.
10 cents a copy.
okay, so,
I mean, come on. Paper's expensive now.
Yeah.
and we go through a lot of this.
Next item is approval
So is there a
for the
motion?
deputy director to cancel our Zoom subscription since we now use Microsoft Teams.
Okay.
Was there a motion?
Was there a motion to change this fee?
I make a motion to change
Okay.
that fee schedule.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Who seconded?
Me.
Okay.
Debbie,
Okay.
Now we're discussing and approving.
cancel it.
Okay, yes, I wanted to ask if y'all, is there a reason why we have it? It's $10 a month. I reached out to IT and Mary in finance, and Janet, the director of IT, came back and said we provide Microsoft Teams and you should not need Zoom, as Teams should do everything you
Right.
It
need.
does.
This appears to be going to BOE credit card, so I believe you should cancel the service.
Cancel.
Agreed.
So
I make a motion.
I'll second.
And we've used Teams for what, 3 months now?
Yeah, so we used Zoom because that's what the state was using when COVID and all that. That's why we did Zoom. And then they switched to whatever they went to. We stuck with it.
Okay,
And it don't work.
okay.
She can never get it to work.
I think what we're using now
So
is pretty
Teams is-
successful.
Yeah, like pretty much everybody uses Teams nowadays.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next item is non-citizen process update. What is that?
Okay, all of you know the new rule about people that are up for jury duty and they say, I can't do jury duty, I'm not a citizen.
Mhm.
Well, if they're registered to vote, that don't jihad.
Right.
We need to know. So they're getting us the names of the folks that are claiming not to be citizens in order not to be on jury duty. So we got an email this week. I just wanted to share it with y'all. It says the state board has received and processed no non-citizen information from the clerks of Superior Court. On Monday, January 6th, we emailed 3 impacted counties, Pitt, Rowan, and Wilson. If your office did not receive this communication, no action needs to be taken on your end. We did not receive anything. I just wanted to let y'all know that that process is occurring, but we have not been included.
Because it basically pulled the jury pool from the voter registration.
Yes. Debbie could probably explain that better than anybody, but they do get a variety of sources for their jury pool. And they all get letters, and when they show up, they have an opportunity to say, hey, I need to be discharged from this duty because, and one of those reasons is I'm not a citizen. Well, if that very person has turned around and registered to vote, now we have access to it from the Superior Courts, sending us saying, we selected him, but then he got here, they said they weren't a citizen. So
Or other counties using something else to get their names from?
this is all new. This is relatively new since the last legislation. Am I correct, Kim?
Yes,
Yeah.
but I'm thinking about Teddy's question. The state is receiving this information from the clerk of Superior Court, and they're seeing what counties these individuals live in, and then they send that information out to those counties and say, these people claim not to be citizens, but they're on the voter rolls. We need to see what's going on. If your county was not affected, meaning if there were no voters that were on the list that reside in your county or on your voter rolls, then you don't get a call. You don't get an email. You don't get information.
Again,
And we did not.
the clerk is not sending us as an office in the county anything like John Deaton Superior Court is
No, the
not
clerk is
sending
not, no.
us. They're sending that
They got
directly to the
more
state.
elaborate excuses for not, you know,
Yeah.
And then the state is filtering it out.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 counties that had them this
Yeah.
time.
And it's gonna get a whole lot tighter when they,
It will.
with this new court system.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh,
all.
God, I don't even think about that.
Okay,
The next item is legislative update.
Okay, you each have a copy of the legislation in your packets. The first one, we can you can just read it. Senate Bill 382 was enacted into law. And it moves the governor's appointment power for election boards to the state auditor. On May 1st, the auditor appoints all 5 members of the state board for a 4-year term. On May 15th, the state board appoints an executive director for a 2-year term. And on June 24th, the state board appoints 4 board members for each county board. And the auditor appoints the chair, all for 2-year terms. Board members are sworn in July the 22nd. I think this might be a little bit different than it had been as far as the dates or no.
Well,
It's
the
still
auditor
kinda
didn't
all
do it.
this. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
The only thing that's changed is who's doing it.
Okay, all right, okay. And then, continuing this, the Senate Bill 382 enacted into law, it also includes some tight deadlines for us during elections. Deadline for missing information on voter registration forms is noon the Friday after election day, not the day before canvass. It requires the use of the state board's voter assistance log at polling places. If you have never heard of this, there's a voter assistance log supposed to be at each precinct. It was a suggestion to have people that are assisting. I go in with Dree to assist her in voting. I needed to sign a log. It was a suggestion. Now it's law. Deadline to cure HAVA ID is noon on Friday after election day. Deadline to return with photo ID is noon on Friday after election day. And all provisional ballots must be counted by 5 p.m. on the Friday after election day. The state, as we've listened to discussion during huddles and meetings with the state, they are in total, I want to say, shock and questioning how in the world are we going to get these things done? That counties are going to be staying at the Board of Elections till midnight every night, but we've done a 3 a.m. So, but, it's going to be a lot. I know we can do it though. I know we can get it done.
And in the last huddle, they did say that the legal counsel there, the state was trying to have this change, but for right now, it is what it is, so we have to go with it.
Yep.
But they're looking at the legal
Solution
actions.
To these provisional problems, people need to do what they're supposed to, and you don't have provisionals.
Right. Right. And that'll be a huge
Plain and
training,
simple.
a huge training situation.
The poll workers and the voters, mainly the voters need to be more educated so that we don't have to do provisional ballots.
Yes. Amen.
And then Wake County don't have 500,000 provisional ballots, and that's, you know,
Wow.
Mecklenburg, you know? Educate your poll workers better, educate your voters better
That's right.
on what is required to cast your ballot. It's not just show up and here I am.
The last page, Senate Bill 382 this is included in that. Deadline to request absentee ballot is 2 weeks before election day. Sickness and disability exception starts 2 weeks before election day. One ends, one starts. Absentee cures due noon on Friday after election day, and all election day absentees must be counted on election day night in an ongoing meeting. This next word, supplemental absentee meeting is only permitted for UOCAVA ballots. Absentee ballot tallies must be announced at 5 p.m. 3 days after the election day. This law became effective January 1, 2025. Just so y'all would have to be aware.
Any questions about any of the legislation? Okay,
That
that's
we
what
do
it
know
is.
about.
On to the election calendar. Thank you so much.
You
for putting
digitize this
Together.
and forward it. That way I can just populate one of my 4 calendars instead of having to rely on paper.
Well, you may have to assist me in doing that, but I'll be glad to do it.
Donna's giving me the thumbs up.
Okay, Donna got it. Okay, good.
Okay.
Me and Donna collaborated on this and got all the dates and got them all colored in, and I think we worked really well together on this situation here. If you lift up this page, I have the general statute for the candidates that are going to be filing for office. I just have it highlighted so you'd have it. The key dates to remember sheet is underneath that. And it's, candidate filing is July 7th through July 18th. Please note, this is the candidate filing period, and I've got it outlined on the calendar. If you look at the bottom, it says county offices do not have to be open on the 4th of July for candidate filing. Technically, it's supposed to start on noon that Friday, which is July 4th. But with this, ruling or information, we do not have to be here on July 4th, but it will start at 8 a.m. on the
It's a
7th.
federal holiday.
Right. 8 a.m. on the 7th is when it'll start. 18th of July is when it'll end. And then, of course, the key dates in November, absentee by mail voting starts October 3rd, registration deadline, October 10th, early voting, 16th through the 1st, October to November. Election day is November 4th, and canvass is the 14th.
So this year is just municipal elections and.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
really slow.
This, so then, election preview.
No, go ahead.
I was
Preview, next item.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's Bisco, Cantor, Mount Gilead. Donna made me aware Mount Gilead has some annexations I need to check with them about. And, I'll take care of that as well. And give them a call and find out, what changes I need to make here to take care of our voters in those sections of our county.
If let's go Canada, I'm not doing.
Yes.
And you and I looked over everybody, please look at the planning board
Oh,
here.
goodness.
It is so super organized.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna ask, why was the Montgomery County Planning Board using this room forward?
That's Kim's planning.
That's a noun. That is a noun. It's talking about the board that is written.
We can put Veolia, but
That's bad, yeah, because I was looking at it going, why is the planning board in here?
Because she's very
Not
positive.
as the board is a planning, the
Yeah, I know.
actual board.
I know. I got it.
the same page, I'll be off. I think like I said, let's be leaving it.
okay.
Yeah,
So there are a couple of items that you and I discussed down there. Do you want to do those next time? Like
Yeah, it's something to think about. I've got under future, I was made aware that the PD emergency voting site is the clubhouse at Wood Run. And I don't know that it's feasible for voters to go through a guard shack and then drive through the neighborhood to get to the clubhouse to vote. And I would like to look at a new location there. And I'm interested in looking at a new location for URI. I would like to use the URI community building rather than the El Dorado community building for that.
Yes.
Talk to them. But the folks that run the community building are the
Yes.
same folks that run the fire department. And that's why we didn't go to the community building to start.
Okay, because he was very nice.
Okay.
He was
Yep.
great. When I called him about, they are actually our emergency for URI precinct.
Mhm.
The URI community building is the emergency site
Mhm.
for the URI precinct that's held in the El Dorado building.
Right.
And he was great. He had no problem with it. It even looks like a precinct. There were signs everywhere,
So,
but, I will. contact-
so go back to when the URI thing started with the flag.
Mhm.
We approached the community building. We approached the people, because the people that run the fire department run the church and run the community building. And they said, if you don't want to be at our fire department, you can't be at our community building.
To be clear, we as a board did not approach
No,
your current director until further notice,
that's correct.
and her eloquency. is-
Could have caused that problem. So yeah, if we can get moved back down there too, yeah, that would be a great for us.
I think it would just we had so many calls, you weren't here election day. We had so many calls election day of voters that were supposed to go to the URI precinct, and they would call us, they were at the URI community building, they were so confused, and then we would tell them it's in the El Dorado community building, it's right up the road. They would call us maybe an hour later, 40 minutes later, they were at the El Dorado
Fire
outpost or the fire department. It was very difficult to explain that precinct.
Yeah, that would be a great idea if we can get moved back to where we, back
In the
down.
vicinity with the names.
Yes.
Well, I know some voters that live in El Dorado that can't stand that they've got to drive to the point to vote.
Oh, that they can't stand.
They
the
don't
noise
like having to
of-
drive to
They
the,
don't have to,
Yeah.
they don't like having to drive that far to
It
vote.
is
So
pretty
the
hard.
community
But
building
we
is
when they drive to the
convenient for them.
When they've all used to drive to the El Dorado community building. So,
it's something we can discuss, because.
That's
And,
the discussion right there, I do believe.
And it's been quite a few years ago, we actually looked at, I think Dina was on the board then too. And, we looked at doing some stuff with some precincts, and then we all got shot down because the state wanted to do something and they hadn't done nothing yet. So.
So, yeah, it's on the
Yeah, y'all
future.
been on
It's
here.
something.
I was-
to done.
I think You were at one point. You
Yeah.
was at another point, yeah. So, okay.
Anything else in, oh, shoot, you know what we don't have on our agenda is, does anybody want to speak?
I've got a couple of questions.
I have-
Oh,
Yes,
good.
That's okay.
Yep.
Yes.
I was reading about, on this new statute on SB 382, and it just says that log is going to be kept by anybody that's not coming in there and be voted, that's not voting, unless they're a minor. Is that going to be public information? Do you know the answer to that? But.
What do you mean by public? Am I gonna have signs or
Access to get that log.
will you have access to get that log? I'm not sure, but I can definitely find that out for you.
And
And if so, can we see it before time of approaching?
yeah.
Somebody came in and assisted 25 cousins.
Yeah.
Oh, incident reports. Can I get a copy of the incident reports?
Absolutely.
You can just email it to me if that'd be okay.
Okay.
Actually, can I request that I get a copy of the packet, per law, it's allowed, of course, minus any personnel information.
Okay, yes.
So,
It's a very informative packet.
Yeah.
It is
I'm
wonderful.
excited, you know?
Anything else?
That was it. That was the only,
Yeah, I think,
that was it.
I think the logs will be public
I
information.
think so too. I
It
just
doesn't
can't
say
remember right now.
I didn't know if that was a rule.
I wouldn't see why it wouldn't be. Everything else is public information other than, the like
Birthdays. and
dates and birth dates and socials and stuff like that. So,
Okay, I think that concludes our agenda. And our deputy director has requested a closed session. So do I have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make a motion.
A second.
6:20.
Thank you, audience.
All right, who made the motion?
Dree and Debbie.
It was a question. She said, no, you're not.
Yeah, you want to turn off the Jeremy and Bo.